Hey everybody, it's Coach Collard here with ArizonaShortSaleTV.com. Waiting on my partner Ryan Melville. He's rolling in right here. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great.
Right on, right on. So we're going to share with the consumer today. Guys, we're going to talk to you, the consumer out there, specifically a potential seller for a short sale listing. We're going to talk to you about some of the expectations that we have as listing agents and negotiators on what we're looking for in a client, not just what you might be looking for in listing agents.
Yep. That's usually what they think about is, they get to interview us. At the same time, we have to go through a set of questions to basically qualify the homeowner to make sure it's one, a short sale that we have a good chance in closing. That is the ultimate goal here. Yeah. Is to make sure we're just not taking listings to get her sign up in the front yard. Yeah, it's
really listen to this, guys. Very, very important piece.
We're definitely out just to get listings that have a good chance in closing. And what does that look like?
Well, I mean, we make no bones about it, and we talk to you guys when y'all make an inquiry to us, and you're talking about how we handle the short sale process. First and foremost is our qualification of you. And I'm not talking about from a qualifying the hardship standpoint, because we've got enough robust understanding of the distressed property market where there's not always a significant determinable hardship at the level everybody else thinks that it's needed. What we're interested in is your commitment as a seller to do the things that are necessary to both cover your buns or your assets, so to speak, which is a responsible thing to do, and at the same time your commitment to us to be in the short sale transaction, because our only intention is to close the short sale. I don't want to take listings and spend 3 or 4 months doing what we do, which is kind of a mastery of ninjutsu at certain levels. We don't want to do that to have it not close, or to have you take on a liability that you weren't willing to take on, or, oh, I didn't know this. So we have a lot of commitments and responsibilities up front that we put expectations on you for to cover, as well as your expectations of us.
And one of the main things that we ask for, and we require this, is to meet with a real estate attorney and a CPA tax advisor.
Absolutely.
Because there's things we can't answer. We're not attorneys. We're real estate agents. We didn't go to law school.
Right.
And there's just certain things we can't talk about or we can't answer as real estate agents.
Well, I'm gonna press on that button a little bit. We'll talk about them, but they come with a ginormous disclaimer starting right now. I'll talk to you about what a deficiency is. I'll talk to you about some of the potential deficiency opportunities you may have. I'll talk to you about tax liabilities. I'll talk to you about the experience we've seen with existing transactions that we've closed on all the what ifs. But besides public information and the fact that we experienced that, along with it, we're not real estate attorneys.
We're not going to tell you.
So we're not telling you should or shouldn't.
Yeah, we're not going to tell you to miss a payment.
We're never going to tell you to miss a payment. In fact, I'll go as far as to say my standard answer from here to the end of China will be the fact that I'm always going to recommend to you as a homeowner, keep making your payments. If you decide not to, I'm cool with that. But it's never, not one time, will it ever be a prerequisite for us doing a short sale for you. We want your commitment to the transaction. We'll work out the details, regardless of whether you're on time or not.
Yeah, and I mean, that's important looking to go buy a new home.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, if you complete a short sale without being late, we just heard it from our lender today.
Yeah.
When can you go buy? I mean, you can buy a house tomorrow.
You can buy a house tomorrow.
If you go through a short sale and complete it successfully without being late in any payments.
That's correct. That's correct. So, and that's an FHA government guideline, and it's actually been in place for a while, if not a long time.
And I think he said he was doing one today.
Yeah, he's in the middle of one right now. Yeah. So I mean, we know that that's a possibility. Yeah. So let's get deeper into the commitments. How do we explain what we're looking for them? So you mentioned the attorney. So one of the things that we're going to do is we have relationships built with real estate attorneys and tax attorneys and CPAs, where we recommend a list of people that we believe are reputable, that give you good perspective and can coach you to the right decision from a legal standpoint or from a liability standpoint. One of the questions that comes up is, well, I don't want a 1099. Not part of our conversation, nor is it part of yours. A 1099 comes automatically based on forgiven debt. So what you're interested in talking to a CPA or tax accountant for is to determine if and when XYZ number of forgiven debt comes to me in a 1099, how do I address that, and do I qualify for any of the IRS exemptions to clear that debt, or maybe you've got strategies with your tax person to minimize your liabilities. So it's very important to know. We give you attorneys that are, tax attorneys or CPAs that are specialized in that. Then on the other side, the deficiency piece, from a financial deficiency standpoint, we're going to have you talk to an attorney, and this all happens in like the first 30 days before we get moving in the transaction, really. It's all around you knowing what your potential financial liabilities are, and can you sleep at night, and can you live with that going forward down the road. If you can't, which we're okay with because we're in it for you, not for us, that's okay, because then you can stop the transaction and say, I'm not willing to go forward based on my attorney recommends this.
You know what?
We're cool with that.
I really like that the attorney will sit there and they'll review the approval letter.
Yeah.
When we get that from the bank,
Yeah.
they'll sit down with you and go over that stuff. And I mean, we will too, but at the same time, you'll get a legal perspective.
A legal perspective.
And not just a real estate.
So what does that look like? It actually looks like our client talks to the attorney up front and says, hey, I'm doing a short sale. I have a first and a second mortgage. The second is this type. It was a purchase money, or it was a refi, or it was a cash out, or I bought this with it, or whatever.
Sure.
And they say, well, here's your potential liabilities. And they may make a recommendation to stop the short sale and say, no, just go to foreclosure or do something else. Or they may say, go with the short sale.
Yeah.
Then at the point, speed the clock up 60, 90 days, and we get a full-blown approval from the lender. Depending on how that terminology comes out in the approval, we're going to give that to the client again and say, here's what we got, here's what we know about it, and then they can take that to that same attorney again and get a current updated opinion, so that they can make a sound decision right now before we race to close.
Yep.
What if you were a seller in a transaction like that? What is that going to do for your state of mind?
That's definitely going to put it at ease. I mean, I know that going through short sales is totally stressful. It's a really stressful situation, and being able to meet with an attorney and have them go over this approval letter and answer those questions that, you know, honestly, we'll answer a lot of them, but it has a lot more teeth when it comes from a real estate attorney.
Guys, I hope y'all are hearing what he's saying. He's being very modest and kind of tame about it. I'm about to jump out of my freaking skin. Are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. To have an empowered real estate attorney opinion, not only up front going through the short sale process, but getting to approval, and then being able to stand in it and sleep at night, so that you have a consideration from an attorney that knows the legal aspects of things, so that you can go forward and close the short sale and feel good about it and feel protected, so that you don't suddenly think bankruptcy's coming in 3 years or 2 years after you already finished the transaction. Man, that's peace of mind at levels we can't even explain.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And the ones that don't have that, it's hard for them to sleep at night. It's hard for them to continue on in their life. That's why early on in the process we built this in. Very important, guys.
Yeah. So I like, just adding on to this, the lenders now can kind of forecast what's sort of coming in these approval letters and brace you for it.
Right.
That way, when we do get it and they're asking maybe for a cash contribution or certain things that come in that, then you're not 100% surprised.
Sure.
I mean, we go over that too, but
sure.
An attorney can draw that out for you.
And I'll talk about this a little bit. Again, this is public information as well as my opinion and experience. I'm not in any way saying do this or not do this. I'm just saying talk to the attorneys that we'll get you into contact with, and you'll find out more on it. But I think it's really cool that in a short sale, in some transactions, depending on the lender, depending on the circumstances, they may ask for, like you said, a contribution of cash at closing, or a promissory note at like 0% interest for 10 years.
Yeah.
And a lot of people get in an uproar about, oh, I'm not doing that. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. You're going to talk to the tax attorney. The tax attorney and the real estate attorney might potentially make some strong arguments of why you would do it and how beneficial it could be, both from a tax liability standpoint, a deficiency standpoint, as well as the fact that it enhances the short sale agreement itself, because you're clearing, I mean, let's just say you're clearing $150,000 in debt.
And you're taking $10,000 promissory.
And you're taking a $10,000 promissory note, for 10 years at 0% interest. That's a coup on every continent in the world. Right?
That's great.
I mean, that's wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge benefit. That's like that's better than negotiating credit card debt down.
Definitely.
In my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So we're not saying you should do a short sale. We're just saying when you're in a short sale transaction with us, we're going to make sure you have the right people to inform you, and it's part of the requirement for commitment that we have for you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller.
Yep.
What else? Anything, brother?
Well, let's talk about our investment. Let's talk a little bit about
which one? Oh, the investment, seller commitment. Okay. Yeah, duh. I was just totally blanking on that. Guys, it's important. We value our time. We're not sitting here making a video as inexperienced first-timers.
No.
We've been around the block. And in fact, I would challenge that we know the game as good as anybody. And I say that not cocky, but very boldly and just intentional.
Confident.
I know we know what we're doing. So that comes with value, and we value our time, and we run a business, yes?
Yes, sir.
And business is for profit, right?
That's right.
And although we're compassionate and sensitive to people's situations, because we've been in them too, we also value our time and respect not playing victim.
That's right.
What does that mean? Well, we require a $500 investment from our sellers up front in the transaction. One, for our time, because we spend anywhere from 30 to 40 hours on a particular file just to get a short sale approval. And then two, to keep us in business.
Yeah.
You know, every listing that you put up, or I put up as the Melville team, we're what, $220 into the transaction just right off the...
Without marketing.
Without marketing.
That's just...
Without any phone time with the lenders. We got a sign, we got a post, we got an $80 lockbox, we've got data entry time, everything that goes with it. I mean, we're easily $220 into the transaction the minute we put the listing out. And so we require our sellers, as part of the commitment to be in the transaction with us, we require that upfront investment. And it's a cohesive thing.
And a lot of our clients, I mean, if you haven't been making your mortgage payments for a few months, you know, a $500 investment to show that you do have a little bit of skin in the game and that you are committed, because we're going to come to you and we're going to need updated bank statements. The ones that we collect today are not going to be good 2 months from now. They're going to come back and ask for updated statements. So we need to know that you have a little bit of skin in the game, and you're going to want to get those documents sooner than later. That way we can proceed in the transaction and get it going.
And up front, when we do this paperwork and everything and get the listing prepared, we disclose this to you multiple times and we prepare you for it. We say, hey, I know it's an emotional deal, but don't go sideways on me 60 days from now when I call and ask for updated bank statements. It's part of the process. We know it's coming. So we're doing everything up front to prepare you and us to be cohesive and make sure we're ready for it. And gosh, guys, when you do it right, and you trust each other, and you're committed, man, the short sale transaction is like cutting butter.
Definitely. I know we're probably running out of time, but I just want to dive in. A real big commitment that we have is the loan mod. How we're requiring our sellers to exhaust that option from the beginning. That during the short sale process, 1 month, 2 months in, that we don't get a phone call saying that now we're going to try a loan mod. Because, I mean, it's proven not to work right now.
Loan mods at
we'll talk
any
about
level,
that in another video.
government or otherwise, don't work.
I don't want to get off on a tangent.
But what it comes down to on the loan modification piece is you can always do a loan mod if you choose to. If you choose to, and we're already engaged in the short sale process, you're subject to us saying, hey, we don't want to work with you anymore.
We're going to cancel the listing.
Right, and although cancellation of a listing is not a unilateral deal that we can just do, we're going to have you with the expectation that we're not working on the file anymore, and you might as well let us to fire you at that point. And it's not because we don't like you, it's just we can't waste our time. We're looking to help you through a short sale, which we really believe.
And chances of that closing when you throw a loan mod monkey wrench in the middle of it.
0.00009 billion.
So that's why we disclose it up front. We're not saying that you can't do a loan mod, like Coach just said.
Of course.
I mean, but we want you to exhaust that option from the beginning. Go down that road, see if that's going to work for you. When it doesn't work, or if it doesn't work.
When it doesn't work.
When it doesn't work. I had to throw the F out there. But when it doesn't work, come back and we'll do the short sale and we'll get it closed.
Yeah, because short sales are about closing on properties and clearing the debt, and they're a great loss mitigation tool. And we give you all the empowerment, all the tools up front, and we get that commitment from you to make sure that we've got a fighting chance to get it done, and then we use all of our outback skills and we rock it down.
I think that's
close it up, buddy.
Hey, thanks guys for joining us. ArizonaShortSaleTV.com signing off, and check out the video tomorrow. Thanks.